Good morning, good afternoon, good evening in Europe, if for anyone who is joining in Europe.
First, we're going to make a
Oh, yeah.
cheer. We have our
Yeah.
special cups.
Yes.
Cheer.
Shouldn't we do that when she's here?
Always. We won't show you what we have in our glasses here at 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's water.
I'm going to say cheers. Here's to Miriam of Magdala, Miriam
Yes.
Magdalene, for all that she's done for Renee and myself, coming through and giving us this incredible experience that's just mind-blowing.
Right.
Cheers. Here's to Miriam.
Cheers to
Into your
Miriam.
feast day.
Yeah.
Finally, it only took 2,000 years, but here we are.
I know, here we are.
Here's
Honoring the divine feminine, the Shekinah, the Sophia energy that exists, by the way, in all of us.
yes, amen.
Yeah,
The
let's
feminine
remember
aspect.
that. The feminine aspect lives in all of us.
So we all know who Miriam of Magdala is, or we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I say of Magdala or Magdala. She was from a town, a town called Magdala or Magdala in Israel or Judea. And that's why her name is Magdalene, which is the adjectival. It's an adjective that describes who Mary once was. Just like Jesus of Nazareth, Mary of Magdala.
We're going to talk a little bit about perceptions, belief systems, and stories here, because there's been a story, a patriarchal story wrapped around Mary Magdalene. There's never been anything positive embracing this woman until the Pope finally declared a feast day in her honor and called her the Apostles of Apostles. And so we're kind of moving into this era where we're branching away from the scarred divine feminine into embracing the divine feminine once again. And Mary Magdalene is a pathway to get there.
Or the past history of who she once was as the quoted repentant whore, as they used to describe her in I believe it was a New Testament of the Christian Bible. So we're going to kind of talk to you guys about what or who she really once was, as it relates to the book that we've written and the channelings that's come through us.
So we're going to just spend about 10 minutes on this part just to give, and we know some of you know her really, really well, and others might be new to her. We don't know all of your orientation of where you come from that draws you into what I call the Magdalene path, really. But I thought, since you brought up the repentant whore, why don't we start with that misconception or that belief system, and then we're going to go from there. Probably know archetypes through Joseph Campbell and Dr. Jean Houston and so many people who have really talked about archetypes over the years. But this one brings you through the feminine path, through the various aspects of who we all are. And again, this doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, but it's like the forest path or the forest woman, the water woman or the water path. And what's occurring to me in actually reading these different archetypes is that Miriam represents all of them. It's almost like a folding into all of these archetypes to branch out and blossom as the divine oneness of who we are. And I think that's really where we're moving.
Divine oneness, yes.
We are.
She's definitely about, again, raising the feminine energy. She always wants to raise it above the masculine and then balance it. She wants to make sure that she goes above it for some particular reason. And then she wants to come down and make it equal. And she'll always say when the two become one, which is feminine and masculine, that's when you know who you are in this lifetime. Yeah. And we'll speak about that a little bit as well.
We'll speak about that too. So let's start with just reading a couple passages.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring Miriam through. Anthony's going to channel her, bring her through, and then
we can ask questions.
We'll have a more intimate chat. The reason I want to read from this is that it really did take a distilling down to really hone into, I think, some of the most pivotal messages about her life. And so I'm going to read to you just how much attention and energy she wants to give to it. It's so short, it's like you would almost miss it in the book if you weren't looking for it.
If we bring our attention to something particular, that's where our energy goes?
That's where our energy goes, and that's where oxygen flows.
Yeah.
And so if we keep feeding that age-old story of who she once was or who the patriarch wanted to depict her as, then it never gets diminished in the background,
Mhm.
right? And so she runs away, right, because she doesn't want to be married to a man that she doesn't love, and her father is trying to set her up with a marriage with a man that she doesn't love. So she says, I had very little money without my father's support. Therefore, I didn't venture far from my hometown. As strange as this may sound to your modern ears, I initially earned money playing games with bones, but the proceeds didn't last long. With few other options as a woman during patriarchal times, when a man propositioned me with money, I accepted. I supported myself in this way for about 6 months until I had saved enough money to give me the necessary security. To all those who have judged me for millennia and beyond, I ask you this. How many men and women did you sleep with before you married? Did you not have your own time experimenting with sex? You may have done it for pleasure, but I did it for money because I had to under my circumstances. What is worse? Don't judge me and don't judge other women. That's it. That's how much attention she gave to what we said needed to be addressed. And so she addressed it.
She did. I think in her own unique way, that's how she is. Very strong
That's
woman.
how she felt about it,
Yeah.
and I mean, the message is loud and clear. Don't judge women based on outdated patriarchal roles.
She wants to say you have to do what you have to do in order to survive
And thrive.
and thrive.
And thrive. So we move through survival to thriving, right? Because survival keeps us
Right.
in survival mode.
I think she was in survival mode, and then she eventually was
Moved
thriving,
into thriving
mode.
as Yeshua's equal,
Yeah.
right? As his equal. So we would be remiss if we didn't bring Yeshua into the picture. And so we'll just read a short bit about in the book of talking about how their relationship got kindled, which I love. She says, as much as it would be easy to paint a dreamy picture of a courtship that flourished, it was not an easy time to live, and Yeshua was quite busy with his teachings. When we kissed, it was unexpected. You could say our heads came together by accident. Our cheeks came together by accident. Our lips came together by accident. Our passion was kindled by accident, and our love grew by accident. But over time, we consciously came together as one soul to do the work God had ordained us to do.
Mhm.
And, obviously she mentions this throughout the book, and that was really bringing the divine masculine and the feminine together to do the work in balance and harmony.
Right.
And then she says, as companions who recognized a deeper mission between us, some people call that twin flames or twin souls, and they both say that they were twin souls and twin flames to each other. She said we grew to love each other through a deeper mission, and that deeper mission, of course, was the good news. Yeshua's original teachings. She said, I can also explain it like this. When I first met Yeshua, a seed inside me ignited. Was it my soul recognizing his again, perhaps from past lives? I couldn't have put it in those words from my time on this planet, but it was a spiritual connection of great significance and consequence. It was also magnetic. Yes, it went beyond a physical attraction to someone you would see across a room. As much as some would like to idealize our relationship, it wasn't a traditional love affair. There was an inner knowing of something far greater, even though I didn't fully understand it. I became a follower, one of his female apostles, and later both a teacher by his side and his wife.
Yes. And I think that all of you, if you haven't read the book, definitely get the book. It's very interesting. It is a great history of who she once was. Everything that came through us when we were writing it, we'd actually have to research it after it came through and start and she would have us research as well the information that was coming
She
through,
did.
especially on the quantum portion of it, the different areas that she was in, whether it was in Israel or whether it was in France, or she called Gaul at the time. So we had to do a lot of research. I believe that she wants to show the world the importance of this feminine energy coming through all of us, especially males.
Especially a man, yeah.
Because it's mostly women that do channeling of Miriam of Magdala. But for a man to do it, a man really has to surrender into it and become one with his feminine aspect of who he is. So I'm always balancing these energies of who I am
Yeah.
as a human being.
And I think that's important to bring up, because on our path it hasn't been easy. And I'll never forget, this was in the middle of COVID, and it was a trying time for us, and it was fairly new for us going live with Magdalene being a guide, because we had channeled the Ascended Masters for so long. And we were on this call, and I'll never forget, because you felt quite emotional about it. There was a woman, with a PhD next to her name. And so there was always like, oh, who is she? Asking the question, right? From an academic perspective. And it wasn't an academic question. It wasn't a validity question. It wasn't anything. She just said in the text, Mary Magdalene would never work through a man. And it was biting, it was very, very biting. And I think, we both felt it, and it affected us. And then we shook it off, we shook it off. But it is hard to believe on some levels that Miriam would come through a man.
Or at least the perception of a man.
Perception of a man.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that too, really, where there is no masculine and there is no feminine. There just is spirit. There is just right now. But I personally think that having Magdalene come through a man is in so many ways healing. It's healing everything on this planet that is happening. She will naturally come through women and prefer to come through women. But if we don't bring in the divine masculine, then we've only done half of our work.
Let's bring in Magdalene. We're just gonna, everyone close your eyes and relax. The best way to bring in your higher self in conjunction with everything else there, the consciousness of Miriam of Magdala, the consciousness of Yeshua, the consciousness of something greater than yourself, is to relax into it. And when we relax into it, we slowly surrender into it as well. And that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to relax, all of us. Take a nice inhalation and a cleansing breath. Do it again. Inhale. And let it all out. So this time is for us, and we are celebrating Miriam of Magdala as a community together. This is her feast day. Her energy is coming through all of us, not just me, not just Renee, but all of you as well. On these calls that we're doing, energy has no limits.
There's always an exchange.
And we breathe into her energy, into her love, into her guidance, into her light. We ask that Miriam of Magdala come into our auric fields at this very moment, that she energizes us, gives us clarity, continues to assist us on our daily journeys of spirituality. We ask that she show us the way of the divine feminine, so that we may incorporate this in our lifetime at this very moment. We ask that she balances our energies, feminine and masculine, so that we shall know our true authentic selves in this lifetime. In our mind's eye, we see her walking towards us, tall and resolute, powerful and kind and gentle. Gaia, it is good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
And thank you for having this special day for me with community.
With community.
It is well appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of you for being here at this very moment with who I am in this lifetime and who I once was and who I shall be and become. I am that which I am. I was that which I was, and I will become that which I desire to become. And that's for all the women and men out there as well. Remember, I was, I am, and I will. Understand these words, and you will know who you are in this lifetime and the oneness that you are with consciousness, or as we once said, God.
Yeah.
The language that we once used was very patriarchal, but we don't have to use that language anymore, do we, Gaia?
We do not.
We would say the father, but now we can say the mother if we choose. We are all the fathers, the mothers, the sons, and the daughters. We are one with God, one with consciousness, universal. That is really who we are. And my message is becoming stronger and stronger, that when the woman rises and becomes equal with the male, then you as a human society will know who you are in this lifetime. And that is pure consciousness, oneness with all things. But you're getting there, all of you. It's happening little by little. I don't only come through Anthony, you know, and Renee. I come through many others. You cannot deny me. No more. It will not happen. Women are ascending. That is, the consciousness of the female aspect is ascending. If you can say ascending, it is becoming stronger.
Expanding.
Expanding.
The consciousness is expanding.
Yes, so the consciousness of the female aspect of human beings is becoming stronger. It is expanding, more accepting, becoming more accepted than ever before. And that's why I'm here. Again, this is my feast day, and it was given to me after more than 2,000 years. Thank you. We are due, aren't we?
As women.
As women. We are due for our own feast day. This feast day is not only for me, but it is for all of the women out there, and for the men as well, I wish to say. Celebrate all of you as well in my feast day, and I will celebrate in you. In me and in you, we are one together. Good. Dance in your circles.
There's a freeing that it's who we are. We're connected to the earth. That's our essential right now. We are connected to the earth. When we dance, especially under the moon or under the stars, we're feeling that interconnection to everything.
That is right. You feel everything to Gaia, to the connection of heaven and earth when you are dancing and celebrating. Very good. I see a question up here.
Diana.
I took 7 with me, but in truth, there were more female apostles, but 7 came with me to France, to Gaul. But during the ministry of Yeshua and myself, there were many female apostles. And in truth, there were many more female apostles than there were male apostles. It was truly the female apostles that supported Yeshua's and my ministry, supported it monetarily, so that we can continue our good news, if you will. But it was truly the women that supported it all. Isn't that the case now? Don't you think, Diana? That is the case now.
Yes.
It really is, you know.
I know.
It is the women that always are the backbone behind the ministries of the so-called gurus today. Now, Yeshua was a guru,
And
he was a
companies,
teacher.
and companies, and schools, and
Yes.
the list goes on.
And I wish to mention to all of you that it was his ministry and mine as well. We work together to give the good news, as you say, the Gospels, to teach something new. We did it in tandem, masculine and feminine, feminine and masculine coming together. That's how it's happening now between you and Anthony. Very good question, Deanna. I appreciate that. But in truth, there are only 7 that came with me. But there were many more, many more
We'll go,
that were followers.
you're telling us that in the second book, you're going to go into, we mention all 7 of them in the existing book, but the second book is where you say we're going to go into more details about their lives.
We will go more detail when we go to France.
Right.
I will discuss this more with everyone that is there. Hint. Finally, it's happening. I know how difficult it is and how stressful it is. But remember, going to another country that is not yours, the language is different, the culture, the food, the people, the clothing can be very stressful. It was for me. It was for the 7 sisters, but we did it. We had help. There's always assistance. You're not alone. You're never alone. Sisters, we are never alone.
Someone is saying that she sees you in a beautiful blue orb. You know, Mother Mary often comes to us in a blue orb as well.
I want you to see me the way you desire to see me. Anthony sees me walking beautifully, tall in stature, and as I like to say, chest out, back straight, walking towards him, strong. And that's what I represent to him as well. And I like that. I like that projection of a woman.
That's connecting to our higher self, because remember, Anthony connecting to Magdalene, it's connecting to your higher self first. We connect to our higher self, and in that expanded state of awareness and consciousness, we're able to expand to the all. And so the all, Magdalene is part of the all. So do you want to?
I wish that all of you, before you connect to me, to whomever you desire to connect to yourself first. Celebrate you as the consciousness, female consciousness, male consciousness. And when you're able to do that, take your time, don't be afraid. When you feel your connection, then others will come to you. Really, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, start with one energy.
Go directly to source.
Perceived energy.
And you are source. Celebrate that. Very good question, and that's for all of you.
And the other thing I would add there too is that when we get into distraction mode and not stilling the mind, when we still the mind and we get into that theta brainwave state, and that's why we always just start, even if it's a very, very short meditation, to bring your energy in, right? We're doing that to when we still the mind and go into that theta brainwave state, that clutter, that distraction has time to kind of melt away, right? And then we can go to our heart space.
There is no one way to connect to me or to your higher self. There is only your way. And I continue to say that. Good. Very good question.
Great question from Bradley. Is there a connection between Miriam's 7 sisters and the Palladian star cluster, the 7 sisters?
I don't wish to become or speak about the galactic with all of you, but it is true. There is a connection of some sort there, but it is up for you to discover it.
Sacred geometry and symbology, there's always an interconnection.
There is always a connection to your galactic brothers and sisters. The consciousness is consciousness entire. It is of the whole, not just of human beings, but of all beings within this universe. So there is a connection there. but you need to discover it yourselves. Very good question.
Yeah, and if you have a galactic connection, that could be why that question is surfacing for you.
That is true.
Yeah.
You may go through the connection of the galactic in order to find who I am as well.
Yeah.
As I said, there's no one way, there is only your way. Again,
That was one of the paths that we started with.
it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
And then I came through. You see, for all of you there, whatever your path is, whatever is opening up to you, these hermetic laws, go with it.
As almost like an onion unpeeling. So it's not the end for you as you're starting to explore these laws because everything's interconnected, but the onions are going to start to as they kind of peel, as you go into that teaching, something else is going to appear.
That is correct. The soul
Yeah.
has a unique way of having you remember who you are in this lifetime as it slowly, as you say, unpeels the onion.
Yeah.
So very good question. Continue with these laws, follow them, and see where it takes you.
So the as above, so below, right, which is connected to what you're talking about, that's the idea that whatever happens in the other dimensions and the realms is happening here, and what's happening here is happening there, because everything is interconnected. This is the law of attraction, right? And so when we realize that, I think the most important thing as you go on that path and realize that you're not always fixated on the out there, but you're focused on the in here, which is the present moment. Because you and Yeshua tell us all the time, if you don't focus on the present moment, your flow is blocked.
Yes, it is. Focus on the present moment. Remember, what you do here in this realm, you do everywhere. And the adage, as above, so below, so within, so without. It's all the same. It's trying to say to you this: follow your heart's desire. Follow these guides. Guides are coming to you.
Your passion.
Messages are coming to
your
you.
purpose, your passion, your purpose. But what we do here affects the other yous in the multidimensional universe.
That is correct.
And so that's why the present moment is so important.
Good questions. Very
Yeah,
good.
I know that was such a very favorite chapter in our lives studying that actually. How can we, like Magdalene and the 7 apostles, able to cast out demons, heal the sick?
I like the old ways, the old language, tradition, tradition, tradition. I believe you saw Fiddler on the Roof a couple nights ago.
Crazy. It was the first time Anthony had ever seen Fiddler. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's the first time you've seen. I'm a musical girl from New York and I've probably seen it 15 times. So this was shocking for me.
Tradition, tradition. Okay. Now, tradition, they are your ancestors. You are your ancestors. You decide on how you wish to focus on your tradition. And tradition is this: casting out demons to heal the sick.
Now, this is belief systems, right?
These are old traditions and old belief systems. And so the father said, well, on the other hand, or on the other hand, you can decide on your belief systems according to your own tradition on how you wish to carry yourself into spirituality. But I will tell you this: there were never any demons that I was carrying. That was the traditional view, the Jewish view of casting out demons. They were nothing more than old belief systems that I was hanging on to.
Like our shadow, we call it today our shadow work.
Shadow work. So to cast out demons to heal the sick, you don't need to. I say beyond that. Go beyond casting out demons.
If you believe that you have demons and dark energy, you will have demons and dark energy.
That is true.
If you believe that you are of love, of light, of God, of source, of the divine feminine, of Gaia, then that's who you are. So it's really a belief system that we attach to, we give energy to, and we have given collective energy to these belief systems for thousands of years. It's time to let them go.
I am not saying that there are not things that don't go bump in the night.
By that, darker energies.
If you want to call them darker energies, lower energies, less light energies.
Yeah.
But these are not the energies that you need to focus on. And when you are healing the sick, you don't have to refer to it as, I'm casting out demons.
Yeah.
These are your religions talking through you, not you.
Your higher self.
How do you wish to heal the sick? Heal yourself.
Through love.
Yes, through love.
This is the new paradigm.
There
It's
you go.
actually an old paradigm. It's an old paradigm being recommunicated in a new light.
Heal through love
Yeah.
and light. Heal through you, all of you. You are love and you are light. You are source. And that's how I wish that you heal.
Yeah, there's
But I do love tradition.
read Diana, I would suggest like there's a whole, like in the Lazarus chapter of our book, he talks about how Yeshua healed him. And I think Yeshua also talks throughout the book in a couple of different parts, and you do as well, about how healing really occurred. So maybe you want to spend a
Healing
minutes on-
occurs when
Yeah.
you are able to truly connect with the person's soul. Ask to communicate with the soul
when
who
you're
you are.
when you're doing a healing,
Exactly.
when you're doing healing work.
And any type of work that you're doing, psychic work, reading cards, medium work, communicate with the soul in order to help that soul on its journey.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
If the soul doesn't receive the call, and Lazarus explains this too in the book, if his soul hadn't heard the, just not just heard the call, but accepted the call, the healing would not have occurred.
How does the healing on oneself affect your mother, your father, your ancestors? This is how it's done. You, this guy, that woman, we are all consciousness universal. You are not just you, but you are made up of energies that are connected directly to your ancestors. You are your ancestors as well. What you do to oneself, you do to your ancestors. And what you do to oneself, you do for the consciousness of this planet and the universe itself. Everything is connected. All particles are connected.
Mm.
But we can go to the human aspect of who we are if we choose, and that's where the fun is. And I say that's where the fun is because this is the spiritual journey of discovering your true, authentic self. That's really what it's about. I don't wish that you or him or any of you get stressed about this. You should not be stressed when you're on a spiritual journey.
You know,
It
that
should be fun.
that makes me think of, we're watching The Tudors. I know it's an old series, but there's a point where Henry VIII, he finally is starting to go mad after his third wife dies. And there's an advisor who was advising him. This was just last night, we saw this. And he said to Henry VIII, this is all just a dream. Because he's stressed and he's like, he's prolonging the angst.
Ah,
of grief
yes.
and you know, he said, but no, you don't understand. This was my whole meaning. She was my whole meaning. This is what, and he said, well, continue to have that dream then. It was really fascinating, actually. You can continue to plug into the trauma and the grief, or you can choose a different path.
The lost gospel of Mary Magdalene
And-
will be found. I'm making that judgment, that prediction that it will be found. Now, what does it contain? Ooh,
Well, there's the
that is good.
You're talking about the missing pages, right, Shelley? Yeah,
I believe in the book I speak about that a
a
little
little
bit,
bit, a little bit.
about the missing pages of my gospel. Within that gospel, I had written the importance of the female energy and how important the female disciples were to Yeshua and the role that they played for his continuation of his ministry. That was taken out. There is a lot taken out.
Well, there was also the part too, which I know is old at this point in terms of thinking, but back then there was a part where you had talked about Yeshua was responding that it was the nous, not to be confused with new, N-O-U-S, right? N-O-U-S.
That was old paradigms,
Old
you
paradigm,
understand.
but this is also brought up in the book, but new in French is obviously we, but nous in
The Greek term.
the Greek term was mind or wisdom, and that was right after that was cut off, and there was missing pages right after
The
that.
wisdom of the divine feminine connecting directly with the wisdom of the divine masculine is necessary in order to understand God. Remember this. Two become one. I can't say that more than enough. When you understand the balancing of who you are, and I know there was a question there about the balancing divine feminine and masculine,
Yeah.
that's when you know who you are. And when you know that you are not just a part of God, a fractal of God, a particle of God, there is still that idea of separation.
Yeah.
This is the most important and relevant information that I give to all of you. This is not easy to accept.
Or explain even.
That you have been told throughout your centuries and centuries by your religious institutions that God is up here and you are down here.
And this is related to the question on how do we balance the divine masculine and feminine.
You're not.
Yeah.
You are on equal footing with God. God recreates itself through all of us in order to have these experiences of being human being. God, consciousness, divine, is us. We are working together to understand who we are in this lifetime by recreating these roles of being human beings and balancing ourselves to understand who we are in this lifetime.
And by recreating us as the perception of feminine and masculine.
This is why it's very important even, and I will say this, and I don't say it very often about the galactic. You are starting to connect with your galactic families. The consciousness, you are starting to understand that you are all one consciousness. And that's how it works. You, all of you, are God. You are the gods and goddesses of who you created. That is how God becomes
Conscious.
You are becoming conscious of
we are-
yourselves.
Yeah, we're pure consciousness. This is also the non-dual teachings.
Your religions will not tell you this. They live in an old historic paradigm that God, sure, is a part of you, but you are not God. I am here on the record to tell you, you are God. You are the consciousness of this planet, of this solar system, of this galaxy, of this universe, and beyond.
So that balancing of the divine masculine and feminine is realizing that that too is a perception and that we're just energy.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah, we're just energy beings having this human experience. And so when we accept that we're just energy and we're spirit first, the idea, the notion, the fixation of the perception of masculine and feminine falls away. And when that falls away, the two become one.
And then you know who you are. You are source, light, divine energy. Don't let anybody tell you anything different than that. The idea of raising your frequency, Michelle, raising your frequency, you can say that. Staying in an energy of,
The vibration of,
or the vibration of
this.
Staying in an energy or a vibration of love,
connection,
and dancing,
wholeness. So any ritual, any ceremony, any channeling experience when we're opening and we're in the field, like we're all in the field right now, any of these things is connecting us to that higher vibration, and in that vibration,
yes,
healing can take place.
I am at this moment raising Anthony's vibration. I'm making him feel good again. How do we make ourselves feel good again about ourselves?
Another old, and I hate to use the word old paradigm because it makes it seem like it's not significant, and I don't mean that, but those of you old enough to know Jerry and Esther Hicks' work, they call it the vortex, and she still does. She's out there talking about the vortex. It's essentially just we're changing language as we're evolving, but the vortex that she speaks about is this field, right? That's where healing takes place. That's where manifestation takes place. That's where our connection to the point where the person from Instagram, how do you connect to yourself? That's where your connection to your higher self takes place.
I like that. The more you stay in this vortex, this energy field,
and remember, everything's circular, not linear,
if you will.
Yeah.
If you stay in this vortex of energy, this is how you will connect to your higher self. But you must stay here and you must practice it. You can't just wish it or desire it. It must be practiced.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, Michelle. But I know that you're asking that question for others as well.
Well, which is also an interesting parallel to Buddhism, because for them it's right. Practice is one of the three of the pillars, and community, which we have right here, is another one.
Was I connected directly to, I'm looking over here, the Essenes, the Essenes, the Qumran group, the desert dwellers. Was I a part of them? Yes, I was. Yeshua and I lived with them for 17, 18 months about. You have to remember that during my time, there were different sects of Judaism. They were one of them. We were another sect of Judaism, the Nazarenes.
And there was the Sadducees and the
Sadducees, Pharisees,
yeah.
Sakari. They were the more radical group. There were different sects of Judaism, as there are now, different sects of Christianity, different sects of Islam. The Essenes was one of them, and Yeshua and I were a part of their teachings for a while.
But you were not an Essene, or you could say that you were one for a while. But
I was one for a while.
Yeah.
We learned with them.
Yeah.
But yes, they were a very important part of Judaism. This is where the scrolls come from. How do we, as energy, collaborate with
other ascended masters?
Oftentimes, this question appears to be that these ascended masters are individualized beings, and they are, in a manner of speaking, but not the way you think they are. I am one connected with many. I am just one essence, one vibration, one frequency connected to the all. How do we work together with the others? Well, I believe you and Anthony channeled almost everything, didn't you? That's how it happens. When you start to understand who you are, these other energies start to come to you, individualized beings that you refer to as the ascended masters.
Or an ascended master.
Galactic, angelic, earth,
Gods and goddesses.
gods and
Gods
goddesses.
and goddesses. Yeah.
They start to come to you because you start to remember who you are. You are connecting with them and they are connecting with you. Don't discount yourself as not being an ascended master, because you too are connected directly to them. You may go through a experience of being an ascended master, and that too is okay, but it helps you to open up to who you are in this lifetime. That's how it works. Everything is connected.
This is actually a great segue. I'd love to read something that you had said in the book here. There's a dialogue that's happening between the two main characters, and Rochelle is asking Miriam, you've both been explaining we are united and we're all intertwined. So this is kind of, what you're bringing up, Bradley, is, but what did Yeshua mean by becoming an energy you take on? So we had taught someone over on Instagram, asked, how do we connect to that higher self and to our guides? And so this is what you had replied. What he's trying to tell you is that when you take on the energy of an ascended master or another energy, you become that energy. Early on, when we open people up to our energy, they may at first think they're crazy, but then over time, they might believe that they're an ascended master or one of us. As they continue to do the work, they realize they are not the incarnated master per se, so much as they are one with the energy. For we are all one with each other as we are all one with universal consciousness and God or source energy. So what is the message for humanity then? The message is to take on the energy you wish to become, and you will. Now you understand what we were trying to do back then. We were trying to show people that they were all God and not separate. None of us are separate. Becoming the energies you truly are in this lifetime. For when you do this, you will create your own truths and perform your own miracles, including healing, Diana.
I like that idea, and that is true. When you become your own ascended master, that is when you start to realize that you are connected to all things. But remember, this can be a very slippery slope. Be careful. Anthony is not Miriam, and Miriam is not Anthony. We are energy beings working together in tandem.
They're merging.
We are merging. In a quantum field of reality, you cannot, you will not, it is impossible to have a direct reincarnation or perception of who Jesus once was, Yeshua, or me. It doesn't happen. However, the energies can work together in order to teach and to heal.
It's funny because we did an interview with Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar. So some of you know him. You can check out our YouTube channel. And there was a point where we're asking, Anthony's saying, well, Bashar is just your higher self, right? Plain devil's advocate. And Bashar said, no, a third entity is created when I channel Bashar. It's my higher self and his higher self coming together. And that's similar to what you were just explaining.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That 1, 2, 3. Things come in triplets, don't they?
Yeah, it was just yeah, and our YouTube is free, of course.
Am I the pure Miriam of Magdala
It's
of 2,000 years ago?
Yeah, it's kind of emerging.
1, 2, come together, create something new.
Yeah.
That is true. Something new is being created. And that's the beauty of when you discover who you are. You create something new in this lifetime.
Yeah. And, taking on the frequency, think of it, we talked about before, your higher self is connected to the all. Anthony's bringing in the frequencies of Miriam of Magdala from 2000 years ago.
I tell Anthony, stop worrying so much. I'm going to do the talking. You don't have to do anything. I will speak for you. Get out of your own way. That's the most important thing you can do on a spiritual journey. Get out of your own way.
That also applies to the question of how do I connect to my guides and to my divine self.
I am not going to say no on that one, but I will say that the essence of what's written in the Course of Miracles is similar
To your message.
to my messages that was taken away.
Yeah.
So yes, very good question.
Well, it's similar to you and Yeshua's core messages from 2000 years ago.
It is.
And today.
It is. It's very similar.
It's very similar, actually.
Similar in different words, though.
Slightly different words.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing in going. I had read it years and years ago and not, hadn't forgot per se, but it's more like plugging back in after doing the work with you and Yeshua. It's interesting how many overlapping parallels there are to their teachings.
Consciousness, true messages of consciousness, love, divinity will come through other individuals in different ways.
It's a universal truth.
It
right?
is.
The Course of Miracles
Yes.
is a universal truth.
That is true.
Yeah.
I will say yes for the record. It is a universal truth, what is written there.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's beautiful words, right? I mean, you can feel it at a soul level when you feel these messages. Are you plugging into conspiracy and fear, or are you plugging into love and connection? It's so simple, isn't it? It's so simple, it's hard.
What I will be doing, Don, is I will be telling all of you about what the practices were that we did in France during that time and how we merged the earth practices with what we taught in Israel and how we brought them together.
Well, not just Israel and the Druids, but also the stuff from Egypt, right?
That too.
The ISIS, hate to use the word the cult, but the ISIS way.
I will speak about how the women were practicing the ISIS cult in order to raise their energy, if you will, through, and I know this is a little bit radical, but through sex magic, if you will, and how that sex can raise your vibration, take you to the next level.
Kundalini awakening.
Things that your religious institutions don't want you to know about. Yeshua and I wish that you open up gently, but Kundalini experiences can be very intense.
Yeah.
So you must be careful with that work as well.
And then also to make sure you're grounding back into Gaia afterwards. So one of the practices was some of these, you call them sex magic, but it's really the Kundalini activation.
That's really what it is. Kundalini awakenings through sexual act.
Yeah, and then grounding using the Druid and pagan energy, right?
Exactly.
To bring yourself back to Gaia and remember that you're here to do the work.
Because once you come up, go up, 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 up into who you are, if there is an up, but I'll say it that way, you need to come back down to this earth realm and be grounded.
Ground the new expanded energy so that you can become your avatar self.
That is correct. I want to thank all of you for celebrating Magdalene's feast day here with us.
Yeah.
It means a great deal to me, Miriam of Magdala. I will cheer myself.
There's no wine in this at the moment because it's in the morning, but there we go.
Celebrate
The divine feminine. Ooh.
Celebrate the divine feminine in all of
A
you.
little too full.
Celebrate my feast day. Dance. Take your shoes off. Be beautiful, all of you, male and female.
Yes. Very
And don't
important.
worry about what people say.
Yeah. Speak your truth, ladies and men. Speak your truth.
God is love. You are God. And you are love. Know that. Most important message. I am Miriam of Magdala. These are my messages that I give to you at this very moment. Stay in the present time. Don't worry so much. Keep your blood pressure low. Eat well. Exercise the spirit.
Yeah.
This is the spirit. Be kind to others.
Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Stay in the vortex. Lots of hearts
I know. I love that, Eileen.
are important. Not during just this time, but all times. Stay here with me, with you, with God, with all things, and celebrate.